Hi folks, so I've started this thing unofficially for the past couple of weeks where I'm doing videos at the top of the week, either on a Sunday or Monday, and I'm looking ahead for the rest of the week. And I want to make that a more regular practice because it feels like even if then I'm not able to put out videos for the remainder of the week, we've at least got a particular week covered. And I can always do that video and then refer back to it if I want to delve into certain astrological transits more deeply. When I look ahead at this week that takes us to roughly, let's just say that it takes us to about March the 5th, which is longer than a week, but actually let me just see. Let's say it takes us to about March the 3rd, March the 4th. There are two themes that appear, and they are very much in keeping with what we've been talking about recently over the past few videos about action-oriented energy living with equal intensity in two parts of the chart and demanding a certain amount of focus. The Aquarius part of our chart and the Pisces part of our chart. When I say the Aquarius or the Pisces part of the chart, I mean the houses occupied by the signs of Aquarius and Pisces and what they stand for and the people they stand for and the themes that they stand for. I use whole signs, WHOLE, as my house system. You are welcome to use whatever it is that you like. I'm not going to get into an argument about what people prefer and what not, and what is accurate or not. That's what works for me in the Western tropical style of cutting charts, and that's what I'm basing this on. We've got Mars and Venus and of course Pluto in the sign of Aquarius, and we've got transiting the sign of Aquarius, and we've got Mercury, the Sun, Saturn, and Neptune transiting the sign of Pisces. We are also in the new moon cycle related to the sign of Aquarius. The last new moon that occurred on February the 9th or thereabouts was in the sign of Aquarius. The next new moon on March the 10th is in the sign of Pisces. So these are the two parts of the chart that currently have action-oriented planets that require us to show up and put our energy into these two parts of the chart. The Pisces part of the chart right now might be winning out. So I would urge you to try and balance, sort of like this Two of Pentacles in the Tarot, balance the energy between these two parts of the chart. The Aquarius part of the chart has the more expansive energy because the actions that are taken in the Aquarius part of the chart will allow, and you've heard me say this over and over again recently, Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus to work their magic there. Jupiter transiting through the sign of Taurus, the part of the chart, your chart where Taurus sits, till May of this year, ending a 12-13 year cycle and starting a 12-13 year cycle. If you're already in alignment in the Taurus part of the chart, it is seeking to expand and take you to the next phase of whatever it is that's going on for you in the Taurus part of the chart. If you're not in alignment, it is seeking to create a new beginning, maybe an ending that allows you to move in the right direction. And of course, Uranus's transit in the sign of Taurus, making you more authentic, helping you carve your own path, find the next steps and the direction and your expression in the Taurus part of the chart that is authentic and true to you. It may not be in alignment with conventional wisdom as to how it is that things in that part of the chart need to be done or expressed, much more about making you finding the right path for you. So the Aquarius part of the chart with Venus and Mars requiring action, the pursuit of goals, the defending of boundaries, that'll help Jupiter and Uranus create a new 12-13 year cycle, Jupiter, and make you more authentic in the Taurus part of the chart. The energies in the Pisces part of the chart with the Sun and Mercury and Saturn conjuncting on the 28th of February, within 48 hours roughly, exercising a greater sense of responsibility and weight and reality and helping us see things more clearly in the part of the chart where we've had a crisis brewing since 2014, 15, and 16. Now, the two major themes for this week really have to do with Venus's transit through Aquarius and this conjunction of the Sun, Mercury, and Saturn on the 28th in Pisces. As the week starts off, yesterday on February the 25th, tomorrow on the 27th of February, Mars squares Jupiter. What I was trying to say was recently on the 24th, on the day of the Virgo full moon, Venus squared Jupiter. So we are entering this week with this Venus and Mars squaring Jupiter energy. Action needing to be taken of a Venusian nature, of a Martian nature in the Aquarius part of the chart that will allow Jupiter to create its new beginning in the Taurus part of the chart. With Venus, it is a more attractive energy. Focus on relationships, focusing on harmony, focus on financial and relationship opportunities and bridge building. With Mars, it is the more yang masculine energy, pursuit of goals, taking action, but also dealing with conflict and competition and setting down boundaries where boundaries need to be set, and dealing with any energies that are attacking you or getting in your way in the pursuit of your goals. With Venus there is this, with Venus and Mars both being in Aquarius, there is this kind of yin and yang thing absolutely going on where on the one hand, if you are pursuing goals in the Aquarius part of the chart that are going to support the Taurus part of the chart, you have both the planets that you need to manifest something and to create something that in the Aquarius part of the chart that could really be the fulfillment of something that you've been trying to create in the Aquarius part of the chart for a while, with both Venus and Mars there. If it is dealing with a more challenging set of energies that are relationship and financially, that have an eye to relationships and finances, you've got this yin-yang dance going on where you've got an energy that is harmonious at work and cooperative and has the element of a handshake, but you've also got that Mars energy that keeps us on our feet. It's an energy that threatens to turn prickly at any time and can turn prickly and combative. So you've got that, luckily you've got both of them together, so you are not just having to be in, it'd be nice if it was just Venus on its own, because, but having Mars there means that in the pursuit of goals in the Aquarius part of the chart, you have the vim and the vigor. And remember, we just got done with the full moon a couple of days ago. So enjoy this week, because this week is going to be the week when you are going to find that your energies, your emotional energies, are balanced enough that you're going to be able to take productive action. Would not surprise me at all. Would not surprise me at all if you had a more productive Monday than you have had over the past couple of weeks. As the energies head towards the full moon, I've told you, they become so emotionally jangly and overwhelming that it affects your ability to get things done. You're moving and things are happening, but it becomes unwieldy. After the full moon for about the 7 odd days, and let's just call it this week, you might find that pursuing goals, getting things done, getting things off your to-do list, the ideal time. And within the new moon in Aquarius cycle, a great time, because it is the most productive time of the Aquarius month, where I'm deriving the word month from moon, to pursue goals related to the Aquarius part of the chart. You've got both Venus and Mars there. Now, as I said, if you're pursuing goals, then it's nice to have both these planets that that represent our energy around making things happen in the same part of the chart. If you're dealing with conflict or challenging situations, you may find, as I said, you going back and forth with, the same people or the same energies, in a way that kind of ricochets between harmony and compromise and working together to get certain things done, but yet a kind of conflict and competitiveness and feeling almost as if you can't tell. There's a dynamism to the energy where you can't tell. It's a little bit like there was an actor, Hannah Shigala, who said of the director Fassbinder that he was like a cat. You couldn't tell if he was going to stroke your cheek or if he was going to claw you. And I think we're all dealing with these kinds of energies with each other where relationships aren't really on a harmonious footing. We're searching for harmony, but we're also dealing with conflict. And there may be at times a glass half empty, glass half full kind of ricochet going on. The dynamism is helpful, at least, because it doesn't mean that we totally find ourselves at war. There is a kind of a war and peace thing going on in the Aquarius part of the chart. If you're dealing with conflict, competitive, challenging energies, really depends on where Aquarius sits in your chart and what house it occupies and what that house stands for. If, and this is definitely on the cards, for this week, if you are pursuing goals and taking action in the Aquarius part of the chart so that the Taurus part of the chart is able to really take advantage of Jupiter and Uranus's transits in that part of the chart, then having both Mars and Venus there give you both the yang energy to pursue goals and the Venusian energy to do so in a graceful, relationship-oriented, harmonious, financially attractive manner, generally attractive manner. Mars and Venus, we come into this week with Mars and Venus having squared Jupiter. And then for the remainder of the week, it's really Venus that our eyes are on, because Venus is going to complete her two remaining aspects as she moves through Aquarius. On the 1st of March, she will trine the South Node. So we're going to be in conversation with the eclipses, but especially with the South Node, where we're releasing something in the sign of Libra and leaning into something in the sign of Aries. So if you look at where those two signs are in your chart and what house they occupy, they tell you where the call and the growth is in the Aries part of the chart and what it is that is being released in the Libra part of the chart. And with Venus going through Aquarius, based on the actions being taken in the sign of Aquarius, there is the ability as the week goes on to find that a certain amount of financial or relationship support is there, or you attract something that continues to help you release whatever it is that you've been trying to let go of, or that is necessary to let go of. An attachment to someone, necessary to let go of so that you can lean into the Aries part of the chart and experience the growth and the development there. It is a trine, so it will be dependent on you taking action this week as you head towards March the 1st to make this happen. On March the 3rd, Venus squares Uranus. So again, something of a Venusian nature, reaching out, building relationships, building bridges, but especially in the pursuit of goals in the Aquarius part of the chart. Taking some sort of harmonious action, relationship building action, financial building action, that will allow you and allow Uranus to make you more authentic. Find the right solutions related to the Taurus part of your chart. So focus as this week goes on now, because for all intents and purposes, Mars squaring Jupiter energy is going to be done by tomorrow. And you might, as I said, that might just indicate a couple of things. That might indicate you dealing with a certain amount of conflict or figuring out where you need to draw your boundaries to protect the Taurus part of your chart so that you are not dealing with conflict or competition or some sort of hurt. It's both things with Mars, the pursuit of goals and the protection of boundaries. It's the hunter-gatherer and it is the protector of what is valuable. It is what goes out there to get what needs to be gotten, to nurture what is valuable, and to draw the lines and deal with conflict to protect what is valuable. in or related to the Aquarius part of the chart in such a way that Jupiter can create an auspicious new beginning, end a 12-13-year cycle, start a 12-13-year cycle in the Taurus part of the chart. As the week progresses, Venus takes some of that focus. And the focus is more on how can we, if it's the pursuit of goals, using relationship building strategies, tactics, actions, harmonious, cooperative, velvet glove. If it needs to be iron fist, velvet glove over iron fist. And this analogy of velvet glove over iron fist is so apt right now for the Aquarius part of the chart because we've got both Venus and Mars there, whether it is the pursuit of goals or whether it is protection. Because as this week progresses, this attractive energy, it's a great week to pursue, to get back on track in the Aquarius part of the chart, even though the Pisces part of the chart is going to keep demanding a certain amount of energy. And for those of us where the Aquarius and Pisces part of the chart really are in conversation with each other, you've got them in your first or second house, first and second house, because they're right after each other. You've got them in the 7th and 8th house. You've got them in the 9th and 10th house. You've got them in the 3rd and 4th house. Some of these themes are going to be in conversation with each other. Some of the conflict and relationship building in the Aquarius part of the chart is going to be talking directly to the Sun, Mercury, Saturn conjunction in the Pisces part of the chart. But some of this is separate. Those actions and activities in the Aquarius part of the chart that have to do with ending and starting a 12-13-year cycle in the Taurus part of the chart, making you more authentic in the Taurus part of the chart, feels separate. Some of the protecting you're doing in the Aquarius part of the chart could be to protect that growth from anything that is threatening in the Pisces part of the chart. But some of it is taking action to attract something, build something in the Aquarius part of the chart that will release and allow Jupiter and Uranus to create what they're trying to create in the Taurus part of the chart. And after tomorrow, the emphasis is going to be on Venus. So focus on relationship building, seeking financial opportunities, smoothing things out, inviting people to be in conversation, extending a hand, compromising if you need to. After this week, by the beginning of, let me see what date that is. By March the 11th, after March the 11th, Venus will go into Pisces. Not a bad thing. But from March the 11th to March 22nd, Mars will be alone in Aquarius with Pluto, but alone in Aquarius. After this week, Venus's agenda, Venus's weight, Venus's importance through the sign of Aquarius will start to lessen. She'll still be here till March the 11th, attracting, and a lot depends on what aspects she's making in your birth chart through the sign of Aquarius. If you've got Aquarius rising and your ascendant is in the last 5 or 6 degrees, then Venus will continue to exercise her influence a lot more clearly through the remainder of her transit through Aquarius. If she's squaring or trining an important part in your birth chart and a planet, and that planet is in 28th, 29th degree, then as you head towards March the 11th, Venus will continue to exercise an important role as she transits through Aquarius. If not, some of her energy will start to pull back after the end of this week. So it's a great week to think about Venus transiting Aquarius, getting ready to trine the South Node in Libra and square Uranus in Taurus, and Venusian actions needing to start to take prominence and priority in the Aquarius part of the chart so that the Taurus part of the chart can benefit. And if you're dealing with any conflict energies, to see how you can bob and weave in a Venusian way to not rock the boat too much and to support Mars in the pursuit of goals in the Aquarius part of the chart, but also the protection. It is a pragmatic week that is teetering somewhat precariously on a reality check that Mercury and the Sun and Saturn are presenting over the next couple of days. Now, let's talk about this big thing. And we've talked about it already in the full moon video, because the full moon that occurred on the 24th in Virgo was our emotional and intuitive reaction to, assessment of, reckoning of this concentration of energies in the Pisces part of the chart. As we headed to the 24th and the Virgo full moon, we may have felt like we were clear about what our own relationship was going to be towards the serious unfolding of reality checks in the Pisces part of the chart. No matter how things play out in the Pisces part of the chart, this is who I'm going to be, this is what I'm going to pursue, this is how I'm going to deal with it. Emotional, intuitive. From the opposite part of the chart, from the Virgo part of the chart. So full moon in the Virgo part of the chart, facing, opposing the Sun, Mercury, and Saturn in the Pisces part of the chart. Look at the full moon video that I did before this one to get a sense of what that might have been. But the purpose of the full moon in Virgo was to say, in the opposing part of the chart than Pisces, to say, this is where I stand with regard to what it is that is occurring in the Pisces part of the chart. Now let's talk about what it is that is occurring in the Pisces part of the chart. Mercury, planet of communication, cognition, meets up with the Sun, our truest self, meets up with Saturn, that is trying to bring stability, reality, consequence, have us handle and deal with crises in the Pisces part of the chart since 2014, 15, 16, where there has been nebulous behavior that is nebulous and gaslighty and smoke and mirrorsy and confusing, to the point that we might self have gone into a slightly delusional or paranoid space about it, because when things are not clear, our mind tries to make sense of them, and our mind does not know what is happening. So it brings up scenarios that can then affect our ability to really see clearly, and therefore to project our fears onto what it is that is happening. But what it is that is happening, chances are, is not clear to begin with. It's a heady Neptune, in the way that Neptune releases our ties and our bounds and makes it clear with regard to what is ours and what is not ours, and what we're taking with us and what we're not taking with us. Does so by sometimes creating theft or deceptive behavior. Depending on where Pisces sits in the chart, it may be you who's being Neptunian and deceptive. Sometimes it could be the other party who's being Neptunian or deceptive. And with Saturn's entry since March, things are becoming clear. They're becoming real. In the Pisces part of the chart. With Mercury and the Sun conjuncting, it's possible that as part of the current Mercury cycle that started in Capricorn and is related to the Capricorn part of the chart, you are clear that you're ending a particular phase and are going to be building and developing on whatever it is that you have been building and growing in the Capricorn part of your chart. Since December 22nd. since December 22nd. And you might be contemplating the relationship between the Capricorn part of the chart and the Pisces part of the chart with regard to what it is that you're building, communicating, transacting, using technology for, using communication for, to build, to create something related to the Capricorn part of the chart. What is the relationship between that and the Pisces part of the chart? How will that benefit? Why is it necessary for whatever it is that's unfolding in the Capricorn Pisces part of the chart? Any obligations you may have, for example. And you may be contemplating further expansion and how to develop what has already been built related to the Capricorn part of the chart. And you might find that you are expanding it through April the 1st. Growing it with an eye to serving the Pisces part of the chart as well. But most importantly, the Sun and Mercury and Saturn conjuncting on the 28th. And we've been feeling this energy for the past 5-6, since the beginning of last week, as we've headed into the Virgo full moon, because we've needed to have something for that moon to react to. The Sun, Mercury, and Saturn conjuncting couldn't make things more clear or more real with regard to what it is that you're actually dealing with in the Pisces part of the chart. Whatever the nature of the deception, deceptiveness has been, things are becoming clearer and more real. The dangers and threats around that become real and clear. What it is that you need to do becomes real and clear. This is why the Virgo full moon has been helpful, because there was a fearlessness to that full moon insofar as it was able to look at this dynamic, this clarity, this set of developments that has started to occur in the Pisces part of the chart and say, all right, this is where I stand and this is how I'm going to deal with it. These are my values. This is my stand when it comes to whatever it is that is unfolding. Sorry, the sun is setting. I'm going to turn on this light and let the video adjust. I'm not crazy about this light, but we'll play with it. Better to see me than not see me. With Saturn, it's a mix of learning and lessons, consequence, responsible action, responsible towards ourselves, effective action, not reactive, wise, sensible, strategic. Saturn and the Sun are in conversation with each other. Our truest self, not our lunar self, our solar self, gets a kind of quantum leap of understanding with regard to its relationship with some of the obligations, but also some of the clarity that is coming into the deceptiveness that has been associated with the Pisces part of the chart since 2014, 15, 16. And with Mercury involved, Mercury is taking a download from both the Sun and Saturn and saying, oh, this is how we're going to adjust our communication. So following what I call the reckoning and the emotional resilience that we associated with the Virgo full moon, which by the way is directly related to the March 10th Pisces new moon, that Pisces March 10th new moon occurs right after Mars is done squaring Uranus in the sign of Aquarius, Mars in Aquarius, squaring Uranus, but also after Mercury conjuncts Neptune. Then we have the Pisces new moon. We're heading towards that Pisces new moon in the Pisces part of the chart, and we are downloading, we're assimilating information, we're collecting information, we're getting a sense of what is going on in the Pisces part of the chart and how we're going to deal with it. And as we're heading towards Wednesday, this has been true of all of last week and into this week, the nice thing is that the full moon has occurred. So our emotional reactions and reactivity and responses and intuitive reaction to what has been going on in the Pisces part of the chart and what we're learning is now behind us. We now stand to be somewhat colder, somewhat more intellectual, somewhat more strategic, more real, more clear. What has been going on since 2014, 15, 16 that has developed in the Pisces part of the chart? What do we now know for sure? What illusions have been dispelled since March of last year in the Pisces part of the chart? And it could be that depending on where Aquarius and Pisces sit in the chart and which houses they occupy and the relationship of those houses to each other, it could be, as I mentioned to you a few videos back, we're in conjunction season. As the planets in the beginning of February and the middle of February conjuncted Pluto and Aquarius, Mercury, Venus, Mars, with Mars and Venus the middle of last week, as we headed towards Valentine's Day on the 17th of February, Mars and Venus, I think. And then we had the Mars-Venus conjunction on the 21st in Aquarius. The Mercury moved into Pisces. Now we had sort of the full moon in Virgo, and now we have this conjunction on Wednesday. And then Mercury is going to move forward, and Mercury is going to be the first of these personal planets, Mercury, the Sun, Venus, Mars, to conjunct Neptune, before that new moon in Pisces occurs on March the 10th. And we are preparing our agenda. We are deepening our understanding of what is occurring in the Pisces part of the chart so that when that new moon occurs on March the 10th, we can take appropriate action. Some of this could be obligations in the Pisces part of the chart that will demand our attention. Ultimately, it's all about intentionality related to the Pisces part of the chart. The intention to have things cleaned up, sorted out by the beginning of 2026. But the intentionality becomes, when things are murky and when things are confusing and when things are unclear, it's hard to know what to do. The beauty of these conjunctions and the beauty of Saturn being in Pisces since March 2023 is the fact that we finally have the help of a planet that is at least helping us get clear of what it is that is going on. That is at least bringing its demand to act responsibly in a certain part of the chart, in the Pisces part of the chart. And by doing so, it is helping us resolve, finally, giving us strength, giving us resolution, demanding, giving us the resolve to sort out stuff that we have simply been unable to since 2014, 15, 16, because the energies have been so murky and so peculiar and so bizarre. It's all related to the Pisces part of the chart. Where does Pisces sit in your chart? What house does it occupy? What does that stand for? Now, it is a different if Pisces is in the first house, it's a very different interpretation than even Pisces being in the 7th house or the 8th house or the 10th house. But this is a general. I can't not address this particular transit. So let me summarize now, as we look ahead and the week unfolds, two sets of energies, some related, some separate. A focus on Venus's transit through Aquarius in such a way that she can support Jupiter and Uranus in the Taurus part of our chart. Building bridges, attracting relationships, financial opportunities. A sense of harmony, a sense of attracting. Luckily, Mars is there. So the action that can also be taken, but it's a Venus who is the more active presence this week as she gets ready to trine the South Node in Libra and square Uranus. And the square to Uranus is a dynamic and a more challenging aspect, but only because Uranus is asking and demanding of Venus that action be taken in the Aquarius part of the chart to help Jupiter and Uranus and Taurus work their magic there. So making Venus and Venusian activities a priority in the Aquarius part of the chart becomes important this week. And if you feel like you need to restore balance between Piscean energies and Aquarian energies, this is a great week to do so, because it's the week after the full moon and we will be in a place where we can be more productive energetically to get things done. You're going to have to figure out how to find the time. You're going to have to figure out how to spin those two pentacles in Two of Pentacles fashion. The second pentacle, of course, refers to the heaviness that we're experiencing in the Pisces part of the chart, the reality check. And the way these energies could be related is that we might be experiencing competitiveness. We've got Mars and Venus to help, even if we are ricocheting between gnarly, competitive, unharmonious energies. We've also got Venus there to kind of help smooth things and kind of push us along in a cooperative manner to get things done and sort things out. But with the Sun, Saturn, and Mercury conjuncting in a couple of days' time, that is as much of a reality check that we're going to get about the Pisces part of the chart as we've been able to get since 2014, 15, 16. There is no room for illusion anymore in the Pisces part of the chart. We are still going to be dealing with it till the beginning of 2026. And as the planets get ready now to meet Neptune, because they're going to move past the conjunction with Saturn and conjunct Neptune, the first of these being on March the 8th when Mercury conjuncts Neptune, we are going to bring the sense of reality to Neptune. We're going to act as a bridge using our Mercurial energy, our solar energy, our Venusian energy, and then a Martian energy. It's no longer that these planets will meet Neptune and be spun around. Saturn is going to meet up with Neptune and escort it out of Pisces by the beginning of 2026. And until then, we have some personal planets that will act as a bridge between the two. So our understanding of what is real now in the Pisces part of the chart and our dispelling of illusions sobers us. In an undeniable way, so that our truest self, our solar self, is going to be forced to build a relationship with what we now know as real and true in the Pisces part of the chart and what our relationship to it is. And somewhere, Mercury, our mental self, our communicative self, is going to get its mission. The mission could be, but the seriousness and responsibility around communication is getting clearer and clearer. There's no more room for reactiveness related to the Pisces part of the chart, but there's also no more room to let things slide. And depending on what issue or issues we may be dealing with the Pisces part of the chart, there is, as things become real and clear, not only are we likely at this point in time to be fed up with the murkiness in the Pisces part of the chart and are ready to take action and ready to, there's also resolve, intentionality. And with Saturn, there's room for the right intention. Not deluding ourselves, not overprotecting ourselves, but what actions are going to be in our greatest benefit to stabilize the Pisces part of the chart and to achieve certain goals, a certain stability, to build a strong foundation in the Pisces part of the chart by the beginning of 2026. It is a real pragmatic week, full of Venusian opportunity in the Aquarius part of the chart. And boy, following that full moon where we from the Virgo part of the chart stared down Mercury and Saturn and the Sun coming together on the 28th and going, you know what? This is who I am in the Virgo part of the chart in relationship to this Piscean clarity. And remember, I told you that Virgo and Pisces are opposite each other. So it's going to be on the same axis. Look at my Virgo full moon video to get clear on that. But now that we've had the emotional meltdown as we headed to the 24th, now the conjunction with Saturn as we head towards Wednesday is much more real, more pragmatic, informed by that Virgo full moon energy, but less passionate. And it's a kind of taking our orders from Saturn. Here's what's going on. Here's what we need to deal with. Here's what is now real. And here's what this means to us. The Virgo full moon provides our emotional and intuitive resolve, direction. And as we head to this conjunction in a couple of days, we, in a very real, very sober, very responsible manner, get ready to contend with. This is where Saturn's transit through Pisces really begins. This is where Saturn's transit through Pisces really begins, with this conjunction on the 28th. And Saturn informs our solar self and our mercurial self how it expects us to with the right intentions, explore and achieve and move towards stability in the Pisces part of the chart and combat Neptunian forces. If there has been loss, if there is loss, to determine and to get clear on what it is that needs to be released. If there's deception, to figure out what our relationship to that is and how we're going to deal with it and manage it. Where are we going to put our boundaries? What actions are we going to take to meet our obligations? What lessons have we learned? And how will we use those lessons? How is what is unfolding in the Pisces part of the chart a reality check of the kind where it informs us of our role as well? Because Saturn presents karmic results. Now, some of these karmic results could be past life related, depending on what you believe. Some could just be fate and destiny and the way things are meant to unfold based on all sorts of, but some of it is also about, as I said with Saturn, it's not about being right, it's about being effective. And with Saturn, there's always this sense of what is the mature action, and where have actions been immature or not completely cognizant of consequence. And how do we assimilate those learnings as we move forward? It doesn't mean that we don't move towards what is right. And that is what I mean by the right intention. It just means that we learn from how the reality of a particular situation has been fueled and co-created by us as well. And we process our learnings and moving forward, take action, taking those learnings into account. Because with Saturn, when you take action, taking those learnings into account and acting in ways that don't self-sabotage, that is what allows Saturn to reward by the time it is done with its transit, in this case, by the beginning of January 2026. I know I've spent a lot of time on this, but I don't think I have time to do a separate video on the Saturn, Sun, Mercury conjunction. It's within 48 hours, we're going to be done. So I kind of want to set the stage for you who are watching and implore you, exhort you to take creative and Venusian and attractive relationship and financial opportunity laden invitations and action in the Aquarius part of the chart. To use the dynamism of Mars and Venus to attract relationships, if that's what you're looking for, attract contracts, attract partners, partnership, cooperation, and balance out this kind of war and peace energy that we've got going on right now. It's nice to have them both in the same part of the chart. And at the same time, understand that things are going to be unfolding in the Pisces part of the chart, especially since Mercury's there and communication and transactions are there. And Mercury is likely to be a bit befuddled because when Mercury is conjunct the Sun, it is combust. It is not exercising communication. Mercury, our mental self, is taking information from the Sun and Saturn right now. It is not in, even though it's moving fast, it's not in yang execution mode. And so there could be a slight Mercury retrograde feel in the air. I don't know what to do. There's misunderstanding. Someone is working at this speed. Someone is working at this speed. Someone wants to do this. That clarity of alignment is not quite there in a mercurial sense. It's a little bit like, it's jangly. It feels like Mercury, like people are working at cross purposes, or there are misunderstandings, or there are miscommunications. Because Mercury is occupied in getting information, getting its download from the Sun and Saturn. But it'll get clearer. And the second part of the energy outside of Venus through Aquarius is, of course, taking stock of and letting the reality check and what has become clear in the Pisces part of the chart inform us about how it is that we're going to be moving forward. And let the Virgo full moon from a couple of days ago inform where we feel like, by all means, use the emotional spine that that Virgo full moon has given you so that you're clear about what you will and will not tolerate emotionally. And what it is that you feel you know now intuitively. But at the same time, let the reality check, let Saturn informing the Sun and Mercury and giving its marching orders allow you to assimilate the lessons related to self-sabotaging behaviors, allow you to align you with the right intentions and the right actions to stabilize the Pisces part of the chart and to move forward accordingly. To set an agenda that will take you through to the beginning of 2026 and will allow you to either assimilate, if the Pisces part of your chart, Neptune has been giving you spiritual inspiration or artistic inspiration, then to capitalize on it. If it has been creating deception, gaslighting, theft, then to deal with it and stabilize it as we head towards the beginning of 2026. Okay, I will leave it at this. A dynamic, hopefully productive week for us all. Take advantage of the energies of this week. As we then move past this week and into the following week and we start to head towards that new moon, our energy is going to start to deplete and we're going to be in the dark of the moon more. If you found the video useful, feel free to share it with your friends, tell your friends about it, about this channel. Like, comment on the video by all means. Click on the subscribe to the YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, this YouTube channel. Click on the bell icon next to subscribe with the wiggly bell on top will notify you when I do new videos. If you're interested in a reading or finding out about rates, please go ahead and use my email address in the description area to inquire, and I will send you the relevant information. Thanks to you all for watching my videos and supporting my channel. Thanks. Take care.